Okay, when you book a trip, you've probably been asked if you want to purchase travel insurance. Do you really need it? Our travel expert Tammy Levent is back along with Isaac Simrat to give us the real truth. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is such a good topic. I think people have a lot of questions, and I know the first thought we have in our head when we're asked that question is, no, I don't want to buy travel. I don't want to spend more money than what I need to. But what say you, Tammy? You've traveled a lot.
Well, if you've read my book, you know that you need insurance for everything in your life. But besides that, yes, insurance is very important. It's one of those things, like even with everything else we have, whether it be car or home, you don't need it until something happens. And then we say, God, I really don't want to spend that money and get that. But then when something happens, and you don't have insurance, you're like, I wish I had insurance. So it's not something you really want to buy or you want to spend money on, but honestly, you really, especially in today's world, and especially with the way travel is today and everything happening, and with an accident can happen, anything can happen, you most definitely need insurance.
Well, and you're in the insurance business, so I'm sure you've seen the benefits of people calling and actually redeeming it and using it.
Oh, yes.
So what does insurance cover?
So, I mean, the basics are, for the most part, every plan is going to cover in some form or fashion trip interruption and trip cancellation and interruption. So that's if you need to cancel, that's some of the big buck stuff.
Okay.
A lot of what most people think about when they buy travel insurance.
Okay.
Because
of like a family emergency or something happens where you just need to cancel.
Yeah, I mean, there's plans out there that have cancel for any reason in them, but most plans have a list of covered reasons, and you have to cancel for one of those reasons. Our types of plans, third-party insurance, are very comprehensive. They have a lot of benefits built into them. But there are cancel for any reason plans out there. So if there's some crazy reason that you're concerned about that wouldn't be covered in our plan, that's another option for you.
Okay. What about weather? Is that, I mean,
there's weather clauses in the plan.
Exotic places.
But let's assume that you fall or something happens to you. And then, of course, that's covered in medical and medical evac. There's a lot of that in there.
Correct. So, yeah, the two big things that everybody thinks about when they think about travel insurance are canceling their trip, what happens if I have to cancel before I leave, or what happens if I get sick while I'm traveling. But there's a lot of other stuff in our plans that is extremely important. You mentioned weather. So there's misconnection, there's travel delay, then you've got baggage and baggage loss and baggage delay. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't think about that can really cause a lot of angst and anxiety while you're traveling, that we can kind of provide that peace of mind. So.
Well, and going back to the health insurance too, do most health, will you be covered if you hurt yourself over on a trip?
That's a good question, especially with us here in Florida. So Isaac has a perfect answer on that.
She defers.
I do. You know what? Legally, you have to be careful of what you say, because I'll say to somebody, well, that didn't cover, and then they'll go and have a certain insurance, or maybe with their company, and it'll cover them, and then we're misinforming people. So.
Correct. So, I mean, I always start with this and say, that's why you use a travel agent like Tammy, because they're the experts, and then they can get in touch with us, and we work very closely with them. So if there's something specific that you're concerned about, like would my medical insurance cover me overseas, they can help you with that. They know how to help you navigate those things. So that's number one. There are plans out there that will cover you internationally. It really becomes a pretty personal thing at that point. But what I can say, especially for most of your viewers here, I would assume, are going to be concerned about Medicare. And Medicare does not cover you when you're outside the United States. So, that's a big consideration for probably a lot of your viewers.
So there are some forms of insurance, though, that may cover you over?
Sure, private insurance, absolutely. If you're getting it through your job or you're buying it on the market, they're depending on the type of plan that you have, it's possible. It's rare, but it is possible. That's why I can't sit here and give a definitive answer.
But Medicare does not, and that's really important because a lot of people think that it does, and it won't.
Well, and I think it's important to make sure people know to ask these questions. And you always talk about being an informed, traveler, not just assuming. That's where you can get into a lot of trouble.
Because travel insurance, the correct way of buying it, can go with your age and the amount of coverage that they need, and then we price it that way. So a lot of people say, well, what exactly does it cover? I'm really concerned about this. I'm really concerned about that. And that's where we tear it apart and see what it's covered exactly, and then what their needs are. And we fit the insurance that they need to what they have.
A lot of good info here. You have a lot of good info on your website, because you are doing some awesome giveaways that we want to remind people about as we wrap up here, Tammy.
Everyone needs to register. register. If you don't register, you're not going to have a chance to win. And we're giving away $36,000 worth of trips, 6 trips, Morocco. We have India. We have.
You have so many. It's hard for you to even remember.
I can't remember.
My
and then we need
goodness,
insurance on those too. There
yeah,
you go.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you both so much. We really appreciate it. We look forward to having you back soon, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thank you.